Imagine this. A criminal points a gun at your face and asks you for your car keys. Of course, you are afraid and you give them to him. And then he punches you in the face and drives away with your car. Fortunately, he gets arrested, but 2 hours later, he's back on the streets. Why? Because of cashless bail. And then he does it all over again with another victim. Unfortunately, this is not a fictional story. This is happening every day in big cities across the United States. If you don't believe me, listen to this criminal bragging about being released 6 times for the crime of carjacking.
One man wanted in connection with an armed carjacking in Maryland told us that, "Why are you sending me back to jail? I won't even be there very long."
The judge is literally going to say we're going to put him on a 3-day hold. Then once the 3-day hold is up, and the runner never shows up. I done been over DC jail 6 times for the same warrant. They never show up. DC jail has to release me. They release me.
Now here is U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro explaining how this revolving door is hurting people in Washington, D.C. and other major cities across the United States.
If you think about what has gone on in this country, it is when this movement started to reduce and eliminate cash bail that all the trouble started. So here in D.C., we've got defendants who are committing violent crimes who are being released out onto the streets. They are reoffending, and they're reoffending again. And this is where the trouble begins. The public is not safe when violent criminals repeatedly prove to us that they are not a risk that we can tolerate anymore, when they are not put in jail. And in the end, the president is recognizing as part of his Make D.C. Safe and Beautiful that in order to do that, we've got to get the violent criminals off the street.
And finally, President Trump steps in and puts an end to all that. With one executive order, he ends cashless bail in Washington, D.C. and cuts off federal funds for cities that continue supporting it.
Exactly what this is?
Of course. So as you've consistently identified, sir, cashless bail policies are a key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your attorney general with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy, so some of the largest cities